Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our club training for rules and things for contests for this season. The session was supposed to be led by Judy Bauer. Unfortunately, she's not able to join us today. So Kris Poole has kindly stepped in and will be taking us forward for today's training. Kris is also a very experienced chief judge. She's chief judged in our district as well as several other districts across the world. She's a distinguished Toastmaster and, of course, as you know, a past district director. So please welcome Kris Poole as she takes us through how to do contests. Kris.
Thank you so much, Jason. Welcome, everyone. Training for club contests, training for any of our contests. It starts at the club level. We set the foundation for your club members to participate in a variety of ways as we advance through to the higher level contests. I am Kris Poole, and I will be your personal trainer for club contest training today. Speech contests. These are very important to our Toastmasters education program. The speech contests provide an opportunity for Toastmasters to gain speaking experience, as well as an opportunity for other Toastmasters to learn by observing proficient speakers. We, as District 35, we are providing this training to our club officers, to our club members, because we want to ensure a fair speech contest and that everyone has an enjoyable time if they are involved, no matter their role. It's important that all speech contests are conducted properly. Following the rules and being organized are important, as well as being knowledgeable about each role in the contest and how they work. Our agenda today, oh my gosh, we have so much to cover. We're going to do a quick overview of the different contests that we are holding in our district. We'll talk about the number of functionary roles that will be needed, and then a little bit later discuss what's involved in each of those roles. As clubs, you will have the opportunity to hold a contest or appoint a contestant. We'll go over that. Important information going over our contest rulebook and contestant eligibility. We will briefly go over the judging criteria and the ballots that are used in the contests. We'll review the disqualifications and protests, and then we will open us up to Q&A. If you do have questions along the way, type them into the chat box. We'll see if we can address them either right away when I bring them up, or I'll make a mention that it's coming up later in our speech. This year, Jason, our program quality director, he has made the decision that our two speech contests for District 35 for our 2022-2023 year will be the Tall Tales contest and the International Speech Contest. The Tall Tales contest. This is a 3 to 5 minute speech. The topic, the subject that the contestant can discuss, it needs to be something that's highly exaggerated. It's improbable in nature, and it has to have a theme or a plot. It is optional if you want to use humor or props to help support or illustrate your Tall Tales speech. Our winner at our club level for the Tall Tales contest is going to advance. The winner will advance to the area. Then we will advance to the division advance to the district, and the district is the highest level of competition for our Tall Tales contest. Yes, this session is being recorded, and all of the presentation, we will be forwarding this and having this available. At the end of this presentation, we do have a list of links for additional ideas, information, and resources. Our other contest is the International Speech Contest. This is a required contest from Toastmasters International. The Tall Tales contest, that's an optional one that each district can decide what they want in addition to international. The international speech contest is a 5 to 7 minute speech. Contestants can pick any speech topic they want, any topic, any format, any style that they want to share with it. They can use humor, they can use props, anything that they wish to use. As we progress through, the winners for the international speech contest follows the same path as Tall Tales, club, area, division, district. However, at the international level, the district winner will advance to our quarterfinals, the region quarterfinals. Those winners will advance to the semifinals, which will be held in the Bahamas in August 2023. And the semifinals are normally broken into 3 different rounds. The winners of those rounds will advance to the finals. And the finals, which is normally the top 8 speakers around the world for 2023. One person will be named the 2023 World Champion of Public Speaking. Is that going to be you? Is that going to be a member from your club? If you're dreaming of it, now is when you need to take the steps to work your way towards it. It all begins at our club level. To be eligible, a club needs to be in good standing in order to choose or appoint their contestant to advance to the area contest. A club in good standing means that there are a minimum of 8 paid members in that club, and the contestant also has to be one of those paid members. At the club level, you can decide how you want to pick your contestant to compete at the area contest. You can nominate or appoint a contestant to represent your club, or you can hold a contest and have that winner advance to the next level. If your club chooses to hold a club contest for Tall Tales and an international speech contest, your club must follow all of the speech contest rule books, and the results are final. As an example, your club, yes, we are going to have a contest. We've got 30 members in our club. 5 members want to compete. We have to do this. All 5 members compete. All 5 members at that club level go over the allotted time. They are all disqualified. Your club cannot forward anyone to the area contest. Keep that in mind. We will talk a little bit about options of how you can nominate or appoint a contestant and send them to the area contest and not hold a club level contest. Why would you not want to hold a club contest? 13. Holding a club contest, following all the rules. 13 paid members are needed to hold the various functionary roles for a contest. And this isn't even talking about the actual contestants. All right, take a deep breath now. You don't want to get overwhelmed. Don't get nervous. Don't get scared. I'll go into those explanations of those functionary roles for a contest shortly. If you do not necessarily want to hold a contest, if you're a smaller club, you're going to be in a better position if you appoint or you nominate a contestant rather than holding that club speech contest. As a recommendation, still follow the rules as close as possible. Get used to what you should be doing in a contest, but promote that event as something completely different. It's a speaker spectacle, speaker showdown. It's the last hurrah. It's a recital, rendition, performance, whatever you want to promote it as, anything other than a speech contest. This is how you can determine, you can then appoint a winner. You can literally draw straws. If you have a showcase showdown or a speaker showdown, have your other members do a vote. who is the best speaker. You can still vote without following the specific club contest rules. Having said all of this, we are going to go into all the specifics of following the speech contest rules. From my personal experience in the past, I have heard so many contestants, even the functionary roles, they did not know that they were allowed to read the rule book or that they were able to review the contest judging ballots. The speech contest rule book, it is not a secret, people. All of you, every one of your members should be reviewing the contest rule book every year because changes are made. Let's transition our thoughts now into the rule book. If you have questions, again, type them into the chat and I'll try and incorporate an answer as possible when I'm talking, or I can address it later on. Before we go into any specifics, no matter the year, no matter the contest, you should always make sure you are using the most current contest rulebook that is provided by Toastmasters International and the most recent forms that are available. They can change. They do change. At the time of our recording here today on November 13th, 2022, I'm in Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin, but all over the country and the world. We are using the speech contest rulebook. The dates are July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. It has a revision date of June 2022, and the picture on the front cover is our 2022 World Champion of Public Speaking, Verity Price. Vice Presidents of Education, you are your contest chair. This means you're the main coordinator of your club speech contests. You should definitely make sure you read this contest rulebook. Again, every year, download it and reread it for any changes. Contestants, functionaries, we should all be reading this rulebook. It is not a secret. I do not know how I can emphasize this anymore. The club contest chair. A lot of details involved in this role. And on that contest rulebook on page 22, it goes into detailed information. It's very, I'm going to say, overwhelming when you look at it from the club perspective, but majority of them are for those higher level contests. As your VP of Education, that club contest chair, your biggest areas of concern, setting a contest date, reviewing the eligibility of your contestants, encouraging all your members to review the rulebook, and form a committee to help you. Key, form a committee. When you are working and organizing your club contest, think about how what you are doing can be applied and used for a Pathways project. There are a variety of pathway projects you can use, and it depends on your path. And you don't have to limit yourself to just one project. So multiple speeches on one speech contest. A couple of examples: lead in any situation, motivate others, successful collaboration, wide variety of options. To be eligible to compete in any of our speech contests, a member must be a paid member of a club in an area, division, and district in which they are competing. That club also has to be in good standing. As I mentioned before, a club in good standing means that the club has a minimum of 8 paid members. Contestants must maintain their eligibility at all levels of the contest. So if they're eligible at your club, eligible at the area, we run into the time frame of membership renewals, and that contestant advances to the division, but they have not paid their dues, they are now ineligible. If they go and compete at that division, they've not paid, and they won, and they start to go to a district, and then it's found out that, oh, they should not have competed at that last contest, they were ineligible, boom, they are disqualified. Even if in that meantime, they paid their dues, if that ineligibility is discovered at a later date, it's been corrected, the contestant is still disqualified. If you, oh, and I should specify this, this is your minimum eligibility requirement for all contests. If you have members who are going to compete in the international speech contest, there is a new and there are additional eligibility requirements. What's new this year? The contestant must have earned level 1 and level 2 of any path in pathways, or have earned a distinguished Toastmaster award. This is kind of weird. So if you did have a member who competed last year, this is an area to be concerned about. Last year and even prior years, if a member had competed and they had completed 6 speeches in their competent communicator manual, or completed level 1 and 2 in a path, they were eligible to compete. This year, it is only if they have completed a level 1 and level 2 in a path or a DTM. So if they earn their distinguished Toastmaster under our old education program, they're still eligible. It's not anymore that they completed 6 speeches in their CC manual. This is a huge change. VPs of education, plan now. Talk with your members who's going to compete. If they are going to compete in international, have they completed levels 1 or 2? If not, make sure that you do what you can to get them scheduled to complete all the projects necessary to complete levels 1 and 2. Your club contests need to be concluded by January 15. If they're competing in a club contest, you're not just appointing, you need to make sure that they have met this eligibility. One exception to this rule, and I'm bringing this one up because there is the potential for this to happen this year. If there is a newly chartered club in the district, so the club chartered within 1 year of the area contest, they do not have to meet these eligibility requirements or those minimum speech requirements. If you are a newly chartered club, if you have questions, we can connect you with Jason and he can go into more detail on it. Not all of your club members are going to be eligible to compete, even having said that they are a member in good standing in a club of good standing, they've completed all those speech requirements. If you look in your rule book on pages 6 through 8, there's a little bit more detail on this. But if you have a member who is in a current elected or appointed position in district leadership, they are not eligible to be competing in our contest season. Also, if you have any members who plan to apply and go for an elected district position to start on July 1st, 2023, they cannot serve as a contest official or contestant at the different level contests. This is something new that's going on for this year. All right, we have our eligible members. Is contest chair a contest official? This is one of those white lines. It can be kind of hairy. We're going to have to talk about this one a little bit more, Jason, at the end. So put that on our parking lot for discussion. Thanks, Gary. You have your members who are eligible. Now, what else do we need? Each member who is competing, they have to fill out 2 forms. They need to complete a speaker certification of eligibility and a speaker contestant form. Okay, going to the question, is a new member eligible to compete? No, only if it is a new member in a newly chartered club that they do not need to meet those speech minimum requirements. So the contestants, certification of eligibility and originality, speech contestant. Use these forms, save them electronically on your computer. If you're ever asked at the next level, you can just forward it on as needed. Hopefully the contest officials at your club level or area level, etc., they will save all that information and forward it on themselves. If you are given a deadline, you need to submit your paperwork by this date, please, please, please get your paperwork in on time. This is so huge. We as in a contest officials, we use the information that is on these forms. And that's why you need to get those paperwork in there. All right, speaker eligibility. This is just a sample. This is what the form looks like. This is a new form for this year. They added on the areas for the semifinal and world championship. You can download the form and look at it in more detail on your own time. Speech contestant profile. Spend a little bit of time, put some effort into completing the information. Type it in. That means it's definitely legible. It can be emailed to your vice president of education. If you do decide to handwrite your information, please take your time, print legibly, because if we can't read it, we can't use it. The information that you provide on the speech contestant profile, this is when the contest Toastmaster will interview the speech contestant. Keep in mind, normally at the club level, the contestant interviews are normally not conducted, but you should get it in practice that you will have contested interviews at all the higher levels. All right, now we're going to get into those contest functionaries. Mentioned it before, given the size of some of our clubs, or if you have low membership, you want to follow the rules as closely as possible. You may not always have the ability to have 2 timers at a club contest at that club level. That's why you would want to appoint and have a speaker spectacle instead of a speaker speech contest. No matter what, clubs need to do their best to have a fair contest for all participants. As I go through the various explanations, keep in mind that training you here at the club level, this is to help you also prepare yourself, your members, for participating in the contest at area, division, and district levels. Don't let this scare you or overwhelm you, especially if this is brand new. I've been doing this 17 years. I still get a little bit confused sometimes. It's okay. Take the time, read the information, and get clarification as needed. Don't just say, oh, it's too much, I'm going to back away from it. Don't do that, please. Your contest Toastmaster. This is your MC for the event, welcoming the audience, introducing the speakers. As you go beyond the club level, if you are a contest Toastmaster, you will be the one that is conducting the contestant briefings and interviewing those contestants and giving them a certificate of participation. Your chief judge. This is the person who will appoint your voting judges, the ballot counters, the timers, the tiebreaker judge. They will be briefing all of those little functionary roles. This position, you will be, as the chief judge, you will specifically be collecting the timer report and the tiebreaker ballots. You will get to meet with the ballot counters and oversee the tallying of all of the votes. You will be reviewing that timer report to determine any time disqualifications. If there are any protests or disqualifications, you are in charge of overseeing that. You will have all of the contest winner information. You will be sharing that with the contest Toastmaster or the contest chair to get that announced. At the club level, you will have to complete a results form that will need to get submitted to your area director. As an option, as a club, do you want to prepare certificates for your winners? That's something that the chief judge could do or another member or contest official. If you are looking to challenge yourself in a new role, looking for a new leadership opportunity, I would volunteer to be a chief judge. The results form. This is one of the forms that the chief judge will use. After all the ballots are tallied, the chief judge will review the timer report, and kind of near the bottom, time disqualifications, yes or no. If there was a time disqualification, they would put, yes, there was. Then they would list the names on third, second, and first place. This results form is given to the contest chair or the contest toastmaster to announce the winners of that contest. Results are announced in reverse order. So it's third place, second place, third place, second place, first place. The notification of contest winner. This is the ranking of all of the contestants, and this is what needs to be submitted to that next level for that next contest. For the club level, this is what you would forward to your area director. Oh, I should note, you're having two contests, international and tall tales. That means you have two forms, one notification of contest winner for international, one notification of contest winner for tall tales. Voting judges. The rule book calls for at least 5 judges at the club level, plus a tiebreaker judge. Again, allowance is made for the clubs that are too small to actually have 5 judges. Keep in mind, you can always have judges that are from other clubs. Judges should be kept anonymous as much as possible. They should follow the ballot guidelines as much as possible. Their job as a voting judge is to select the best speaker in each contest that day and determine the first, second, and third place winners. To be a judge, you need to be a paid member of the club. Boom, nice, simple, easy. This is the eligibility at the club level. There is a new form that came out in March of 2022 that should be used for it. The top portion of the form, you specify which contest and what level and your date of your contest. The second part of this eligibility form goes over the eligibility requirements. And you'll see, just kind of glancing down, each level that you advance, there are different eligibility requirements. And then we have our judges' code of ethics. You'll uphold the Toastmasters values. You'll demonstrate objectivity. So you do have to review these, and then you sign that you are testing and agreeing with all of this information. At the end of the judge's briefing, you will have signed this form, given it to the chief judge. The chief judge, after the end of the contest, will discard these forms. The tiebreaker judge. The difference with the tiebreaker judge versus a regular voting judge, the tiebreaker judge will rank all the contestants. So if your club has a contest and you have 7 contestants, your regular judges only vote for first, second, third place. Your tie-breaking ballot judge, or your tie-breaking judge, ranks first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, or however many. Their ballot is only looked at if there is a tie between the regular judges. So you could be doing all this work and it may not even be reviewed, but it could be. Contests in the club level should have 2 timers. Not always the most practical, but you should try. Timer number 1 would keep the official time and record it on the sheet, and it gets given to your chief judge. Timer number 2 is the person who will be changing the color lights or the backgrounds for the speakers to know what are their times. You do have to think about best practices as a timer. If you are virtual setting, if you are an in-person setting, how are the 2 timers going to communicate? That's something that would need to be discussed and decided upon for what is going to work best for your club. All right, as timers, you show different timing lights when the speakers get to certain points. After a contestant is done, they will have 1 minute of silence. That minute of silence is for the judges to tally their votes on that specific contestant. Once all the speakers are done in the contest, there will be silence for everyone until all the ballots are done. So as a judge, you have as much time as you need to complete your ballot. I've had some situations, judges are only allowed 2 minutes to finish their ballot. Incorrect. There is no time limit, and we need to be quiet until the ballots are collected. Once our ballots are collected, we have ballot counters. If it's an in-person contest, they will literally go to each judge, take their envelope with their ballot in it, meet up with the chief judge, go to a separate room to tally up the votes. If it is a virtual ballot counting, then the judges will submit their ballots electronically. Then the ballot counters and chief judge get put into a separate breakout room, do a screen share, and tally the votes. Your sergeant at arms. This year it's going to be relatively easy, the duties of the sergeant at arms. Depending on the contest, what is needed by the sergeant at arms can vary. For the most part, the sergeant at arms is to keep people from going in and out of the room while a speaker is speaking. So in person, no one can physically walk in and out of the room. If it's a virtual meeting, no one should be admitted into that meeting until that minute of silence between speakers. Sometimes people will join in on a Zoom meeting and they start talking, they don't pay attention to what's already happening. So virtually the sergeant at arms working maybe in connection with the host of the meeting, if there's a tech master, who's going to coordinate and admit people into a virtual contest. As a recommendation from District 35, and depending again how this is going to work at your club level, you need to determine it. Have a tech master, someone specific who will help you set up the online meeting, admit your attendees, mute the participants if needed. They can assign and open up the breakout rooms, and they can help with technical issues. Normally at the club level, if you are meeting virtually, you'll pretty much only need a breakout room for the ballot counting. At the higher levels, you will have separate breakouts for the judges briefing, the contestant briefing, and then that ballot counter room. Keep in mind, this is not a one-person job. Form some subcommittees to help you. If you are planning to use this contest or the showcase, speaker showcase, use this as a PR opportunity for your club. Maybe you need some help with registration. Maybe you want someone to bring some refreshments in. Maybe you do want to do extra promotion on your website, design a flyer or logo. Maybe you want to turn it into a party to entice people to come to your event. As a special note, keep in mind, if you are a contestant, you cannot be a functionary in any other contest of the same type. So what that means is, if I'm a contestant in the Tall Tales contest in my club, and then as I advance, so if I'm club member of Cream City, I advance to my D1 contest in Tall Tales. I cannot be a contest judge, contest Toastmaster, timer in a Tall Tales contest anywhere else. Plain and simple. If I am a functionary, I have to be a paid member. I know in the past this has come up where we have been low on people, low on attendees at a contest. Well, somebody brought their 18-year-old son with them who's attended every single meeting for the last 2 years. They know what's going on. Okay, we'll just bring this, Brad into our contest ballot counting room. They can be a ballot counter. We've got the chief judge who's a paid member. We've got another ballot counter. Should not be doing that at all. 13, again, there's that magic number. At each level of the Toastmasters speech contests, there is a specific number of voting judges and officials that are required. At a club contest, one contest chair, the one who oversees everything. A contest Toastmaster, which is going to be the MC of your speech contest. If you're the MC or the contest Toastmaster, you cannot be a contestant at that same time. You'd think that would not need to be specified out, but it is. In a club contest, normally the VP of Education would be the contest chair and your contest Toastmaster. Your chief judge would normally be your general evaluator. At the club, 5 or more voting judges, 1 tiebreaker judge, 2 timers, 2 ballot counters, and a sergeant at arms. 13 functionary roles unless it is impractical. You have to decide what's going to be best for your club, if it's a club contest or it's a speaker showcase or another name. All right, let's move into some of the specifics on each contest. Each contest has its own ballot, different judging criteria, and you should know what's involved. Our Tall Tales speech contest, form number 1181. I invite all of you to download the form, read it in detail. As a club, add it onto your contest website so you have the different ballots available. Contestants in the Tall Tales contest, they will be judged on 3 different areas. The first area is your content or your speech development. This is 30% of the score. Delivery is 55% of the score for Tall Tales. It's broken down into speech techniques, physical, and voice. And then we have language rounding it out at 15% of your score. Talks about the appropriateness. When you download the forms, read the specific details on these. See what needs to be done. How do you organize your speech? How do you present your speech so that you meet the various criteria on that judging ballot? Our international speech contest, completely different ballot. We even have a different form number, 1172. Download the ballot, upload it to your club website. This one is broken out into 3 different overall categories also. You have the content, which is 50% of your score. Content includes your speech development, effectiveness, and speech value. Your delivery is 30% of your score, and this includes physical, voice, and manner. And then we have language, 20% of your score. These numbers are quite different. Their descriptions are quite different between these 2 different ballots, the 2 different contests. Be aware of what you are being judged on. As a contestant in these contests, you are being judged, not evaluated. Very different. All right, you have stepped up to be a voting judge. What do? You have to complete your ballot. The top half of the ballot is where you have all the scoring criteria. The bottom portion of the ballot is where you assign a first, a second, and a third place contestant. And then you sign your name and print your name. Simple. There's not a whole lot that goes on this ballot. The process can be different. If you are having a contest and you're completing these forms in person, you will have this physical sheet of paper. You would complete your information. You would tear off the bottom portion of the ballot, put that ballot into an envelope, which is collected by your ballot counters. If you are holding a contest and it is a virtual contest, you will get to decide how those ballots will be collected. Will you set up a survey monkey? Will you set up a poll? Will you have the judges email you, text you, put it in a private chat message? Variety of different ways. This is just one option through a survey monkey. This was from it was the D3 contest last year for the table topics contest. What is the judge's name? First place contestant, second place contestant, third place contestant. Submit. Nice and easy. There are situations where a ballot, especially when it is the in-person contest and you are writing out your ballot, there are a variety of ways that your ballot as a judge can be disqualified. And we want to prevent that from ever happening. A couple of ways that it could happen. If you decide as a judge, well, I don't know, between Mike and Mary, they're both really good. I can't decide who should be first and who should be second. So I'm just going to put both names for first. That will disqualify your ballot. As a chief judge, I see this, boom, your ballot is thrown away. If you write scores on your ballot for each your contestant, so if I write Mike 3, Mary 2, Jimmy John 3, that will disqualify your ballot. You only write a contestant's name on the first place line, one name on the second place line, one name on the third place line. No other doodles, notes, nothing. You sign your name, you print your name. No dates, nothing else. All right. We talked about how a judge's ballot could be disqualified. There are ways that contestants can be disqualified at that contest. Lori, yes. Is the Tall Tales contest replacing table topics this year? Yes. So again, all clubs or all districts have to host an international speech contest. There are 4 other contests that they could have the district participate in. This year, the district has decided to go with that Tall Tales contest. All right, disqualifying a contestant. First way that this is done, eligibility. Again, at any level contest, if the contestant is not a paid member in a club of good standing, they are disqualified. They are not eligible to speak. If they are competing specifically for international and they have not completed their level 1 or level 2 or achieved DTM, and if it's found out at a later time or even at the date of the contest, they're disqualified. Originality. This is a disqualifying factor. If a contestant has, as part of their speech, more than 25% as other people's content, if they're plagiarizing, using parts of their information, it's not original to that speaker. If it's more than 25% of their 5 to 7 minute speech, they could be disqualified. If they are using information from other speakers, whatever it may be, they do need to reference and cite their sources. If as a judge or another contestant, man, I heard that same speech from a speaker that I knew 5 years ago out in California. This is not this guy's original speech. They can say, Mr. Chief Judge, this is an issue. The third disqualification, as a contestant, you are not allowed to reference another contestant in the contest or their speech. I know in years prior to this rule, a lot of the speakers would try to incorporate and refer to those other speakers and try to incorporate it into their speech. That's not allowed anymore going forward. The fourth way to be disqualified as a speaker is if you go over or under your target speaking time. Tall tales, your speech is, sorry, lost my train of thought. Tall tales, you will be disqualified if you do not meet the minimum time of 2 minutes, 30 seconds. You will be disqualified if you hit 5 minutes, 31 seconds. Because your speech is 3 to 5 minutes, you have a 30-second over or under. International speech contestants, your disqualifications will occur if you do not meet the minimum speaking time of 4 minutes, 30 seconds, or if you go over 7 minutes, 31 seconds. Your speech is 5 to 7 minutes, you get a 30-second over or under on that speech. The fifth way that you could have a contestant disqualified, and this more than likely will never happen at a club level, but it is a concern at your higher levels. Contestants need to, or they should be attending the contestant briefing. If a contestant does not attend that briefing and then they arrive after your contest Toastmaster is introduced, they would be disqualified, not able to compete. If the contestant arrives, they missed the briefing, but they got there before your contest Toastmaster is introduced, and they've already had all their paperwork submitted, they can compete. So let me give you a scenario. ABC Club, they're holding their club contest. It's on January 10th. Vice President of Education, they set their deadline for the paperwork due on January 8th. The contestant submitted their paperwork. VPE has been able to review it. Yep, they're eligible, paid, great. The day of the contest, the contestant missed that briefing, but they arrived after the presiding officer has called the meeting, the contest to order. Contestants arrive, and then the presiding officer introduces your contest Toastmaster. Contestant is able to compete. If your presiding officer does the welcome up to our stage, our contest Toastmaster to run the contest, and then your contestant arrives, contestant is not allowed to compete. Follow your deadlines for your paperwork, because again, if you're turning in that paperwork, walking into the meeting, I missed the contestant briefing, that's fine, I don't need any of that information. If that contest chair has not had the time to review your paperwork that you are eligible to be competing, we need the time. Please be considerate of the work that needs to be done behind the scenes. We have a lot of information about the disqualifications and protests. They are available on pages 6, 16, and 24 of your contest rulebook. All right, we just talked about 5 disqualifications. I just mentioned details on disqualifications and protests. Well, protests are ways that judges or contestants can say, hang on, wait a minute, something is wrong here, we need to review this. Protests are limited to your chief judge, your contest chair, your voting judges, and contestants. So it's your judges and contestants bringing the issue to the contest chair, the chief judge. If Sally Mae is in the audience and she's just jibber jabbering, well, this person's only been a member for this amount of time, and that is not to be considered for a protest. If a judge or contestant protests, the contestant needs to be given an opportunity to explain what the situation is. If a protest is raised, then the chief judge would bring all the judges to a separate room with the contestant in question. They would talk about what the issue is. Contestant would then leave, and the judges would vote again. Protests are limited to 3 of the items that the contestant can be disqualified on: eligibility, originality, references to another contestant or their speech. Eligibility. Normally, this is not going to be an issue, especially at the club level. You know if your contestant is a paid member of your club, if they've met the speech requirements. When you get to those higher level contests, this is where eligibility could become an issue. If the other voting judges or contestants are not familiar with you, hang on, this person's only been a member of this club for 3 months. There's no way they could have gotten in all those speeches to complete level 1 and 2. What that judge may not know is, well, this is a member who had been a member of a Toastmasters club in Florida for the last 7 years. They're already a DTM. Just because you are not familiar with that person doesn't mean that they're ineligible, but it would need to be explained. And that is, once they hear, yep, they're already a DTM, eligibility, not a concern. Originality, again, 75% or more of the speech needs to be original to the speaker. If you are raising your hand, I protest the originality of that speaker. So you, again, the judges will get together with the contestant. Contestant explains their information. The judges would question it. Well, if a judge says, well, I heard him give that same speech last month at their club, it's not original. It's original to the speaker. It's okay. If I say as a judge, I just heard this entire speech from the Speaker of the House 3 years ago, it's not an original speech. It's not this contestant's original information. Could be an issue of originality. And then the last protest is referencing another contestant or their speech. If I'm the third speaker and I get up, thank you, Madam Contest Toastmaster, fellow contestants and guests. I would love to congratulate Jimmy John on his speech before on animal and dog abuse. It's a term, or it's a topic near and dear to my heart, but I want to talk about this and this. That is a disqualification. Judges or other contestants can protest because the person is referencing another contestant. All right, let's do a quick review. We're almost done. We got 5 minutes to go. Quick, easy, simple, start to finish at the club level. It's all about the planning and the teamwork. You will truly be putting your communication and leadership skills together to work. Make sure you review that speech contest rulebook. Determine your date and time and location. Are you going to have an in-person or a virtual contest? Is it a contest or is it a showcase? You have to decide which. Make sure that you are preparing and completing all the paperwork, whether it's a contestant, chief judge, whatever it is. Have all your paperwork done and ready to go. Make sure, I should have started this in the beginning. The number one objective here is to have fun. Woo-hoo! Have fun. Cheer on the contestants. Even if your club does not have a contest, a showcase, whatever it may be, as we advance to the higher levels, encourage all of your members to go and cheer on all of the contestants. They will learn so much from attending these other contests, hearing those proficient speakers. Encourage them to volunteer to help in different capacities. When your contest or your showcase is done, make sure that paperwork is completed and sent up to your next level. In the case of a club contest, that next level is your area director. Your area director is your resource as well. That's who you, as a club officer, your club VP of education, reach out to your area director if you need help with planning, running, organizing your club level contests. Whew. All right, We're going to open this up to questions. I will show you just real briefly here. I do have a couple appendix pages. You'll have a list of additional resources. Again, when you receive this as a handout, you can click on each of these links. It will take you directly to that website. Our contest speech dates, just as a quick reminder, all club contests should be completed by January 15th, 2023, and then move on into our area contests. All right, let's open it up. All of our comments. Yuri.
Yes, Kris. Going back to the question I asked, is a contest chair considered to be a contest official?
Yes, I would interpret it that way. Yes,
Yes, so.
because they're the ones organizing the entire event.
So I think, Yuri, my assumption is your question is because you're a current district or division director and considering running for division director again or some other office. I have sent an email to Toastmasters to clarify that specific question, because I'll say that addition and change to the rule makes me ineligible to run the district's contest. Because I'm going to run for district director. Here, I've said it publicly. Because of that rule, in theory, I cannot run the district contest. I don't believe that's the intention, so I have sent an email to Toastmasters to clarify that it's intended to be other contests, not your own contest, the one that you're responsible for in your role.
Okay, because then none of my area directors would then be able to be contest chairs of their contest, nor would I be able to be a contest chair of the area contest.
Only if they were all running for an elected office. If they're already an officer, they can chair contests. The change is if you're running for office.
Okay,
so the biggest impact, I would say, is that change makes anyone that's running now ineligible to judge at any level other than the club level. So traditionally, the trio has judged at a lot of contests in the past. We are no longer, Robert and myself, assuming Robert is running for program quality director, are no longer able to judge. That's against the rules. But it doesn't affect your ability as an area director if you're not running for another office to run your area contest. The only thing that rule is about, and I've asked for clarity, is if you're an area director wanting to run to be division director, or division director wanting to be club growth director, or division director again, or Robert or myself, really myself, because as program quality director, contest is part of my job description. So that's why I'm asking for clarification from Toastmasters.
Okay, in other words, if I'm thinking about being the division director again next year, do I wait until when? Because I know that we are going to have that coming up soon.
Yeah, so we should continue to plan, and I will get clarification from Toastmasters, but continue to plan as we're moving forward, because I don't believe that's their intention to say that I, as the program quality director, because I'm running for district director, cannot run the district contest, even though that's part of my job as program quality director.
Okay, I'll just wait for the clarification.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to go forward as otherwise, so. But don't volunteer to be a judge, don't volunteer to be a chief judge. Those things are for sure, if you're going to run for a district office.
Because I'm already I suggested to my area directors that I can be a contest chair for both all three areas and the division, and kind of delegate over to them. And this is then no longer, until we get clarification, whatever. Can I still plan on being a contest chair for area and division?
So by definition, the area directors and division directors are chairs of their own contest. You can be the contest Toastmaster of someone else's contest, or they can assign it to you, but in theory, they're supposed to be their own contest chair. As the division directors are in theory supposed to be your own contest chair. There's a difference between chair, which is the one planning the contest, and contest Toastmaster in the other roles. Can that area director assign it to you? Yes, but the intention is that every area director chairs their own contest.
Let's bring our focus back. This is club
Yeah.
level. I mean, so we have mentioned things that are going on at the upper levels. That's a discussion, Yuri, that we need to take offline.
Yep.
Because let's keep the focus on club level.
Yeah,
Cassandra.
Thanks, Kris.
I want to take things back to some of the comments that you said earlier related to the judges. And I think my specific question was, you at one point said that some clubs might have difficulty having enough individuals that are qualified to be a judge in their particular club, so they may reach out to other individuals. So I guess my point that I'm trying to get confirmation for, you also said that someone from the club needed to be, and I'm wondering if that was geared towards the chief judge.
So typically in the past, so I'm going to use Cream City as an example, because this is what we have done. The vice president education is your contest chair, organizes the entire event, because VP of education organizes all of our meetings. So that's what makes sense at the club level. VPE is your contest chair.
Mm-hmm.
You can assign another member to be the contest Toastmaster, so the Toastmaster of the day, or that VPE can also hold that role. And that's something that continues up through the levels. The contest chair, your area division PQD, who's overall in charge of your contest, they can choose to be the contest Toastmaster if they want, or have someone else come in and do it. At the club level, normally what we have done is the general evaluator, who oversees everything going on in that meeting, has normally transitioned into that role of the chief judge, because you're overseeing the ballot counting, the timers, and the judges. It's not a set rule, it's just something that makes sense. But any member of the club can be a judge, can be the chief judge, can be the tiebreaker judge. There are no eligibility requirements at the club level.
Okay.
For those roles.
And that's where I missed that piece. I was thinking that when you said that the judge needed to be from the club, I was questioning whether or not it was at the club level. Okay, that helps.
So at the club level, if you want to have that contest and follow all the rules, you should have 5 judges. But if you only have 12 members in your club and you have 3 who want to compete, you're not going to fill all those roles from your club.
Okay,
Susan.
that helps.
Then,
Oh, hang on, Susan's got the floor.
Took me a while to unmute there. If you are deciding among your officers and your members to hold a club spectacle, in other words, not the contest, may all the members vote for the speaker and the runner-up, as in a club?
Your club gets to choose then. So if you normally vote for best speaker, best table topic speaker, best table topic speaker, I want to vote for me as best table topic speaker. If that's what you want in your club, that's how you decide.
Okay.
We've had instances in the past where we've only had 2 people who want to compete, and we are allowed to send 2 people. We'll still call it that showcase. They can practice, but because it's not a contest, if they both go over or under time, they can still advance.
Mhm.
If you say this is going to be a speech contest at the club and everybody goes over time, you cannot change your mind and you cannot send a club contestant to that area contest.
Okay, that helps. Thank you, Kris. The part 2 of that was, if we are acting as members and choosing the best first and second place person, assuming that there are that many competitors,
Yep.
do we have to use the official ballot that would be used in a contest?
No,
Or
you
can
do
we
not have
do-
to. You do not have to.
Okay.
My suggestion is to still use those to
Mhm.
get everyone comfortable and familiar with those ballots, though. But you
I
do
agree.
not have to know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, again, part of this with the training, educating the members at the club level so they can use the information as they advance through to area division district. Because if you have someone who's just lucky enough they got all the way up to district, well, what do you mean I should be following rules? I just go up and I talk. Why did that person? Well, they stayed within the guidelines. They had a full opening body conclusion, da 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 da. So yeah, so it's nice to get the members used to the judging criteria right away.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, Yuri?
Yes. More to follow Susan's question. At the club level now, where I'm kind of, it's still foggy for me is this concept of, I'm talking about holding a club spectacle, not an official contest. We're calling it club spectacle, showcase, determination. There are two individuals are interested to speak to represent the club, and it's not a club contest again. It's a spectacle. They both speak. They probably are timed, and even if they go over 7 minutes, they go 7 minutes 31 seconds each. They're not disqualified because it's not a contest.
Correct.
Where it's still foggy for me is then the contest chair would still fill out the forms, and what, as far as the first and second place, what determines if it's a spectacle, what determines which one is the first, which one is the second?
I would do a flip of the coin. It
Yep.
does not matter going from that club level up to area. You just have it, disregard even first, second, third place. You just need to give the information of your two contestants. Jason?
Yeah, depending on what your club is doing, you can vote for best speaker and which one was the best, and whoever had the most is first, whoever had the second most is second. You can, if you have only two people, you can flip a coin, you can draw straws, you can put them in alphabetical order. Particularly if at the area level we're taking two contestants, it really doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter what place you were at the club level. It only matters if we're advancing less than two people, which in most cases will be advancing two people from the club if there are two contestants.
Susan, you had another question? I haven't been, okay. All right, does anyone else have any questions? I know we are over time. I know I'm a loquacious speaker, but man, I want some of these details out there.
I'll ask another one because it all kind of flows for me. From the standpoint, again, not a club, it's a club spectacle. From the rest of the members, what I heard is you saying, Kris, that it would be helpful for those members they're not actually speaking in a spectacle form. They are they're looking at the judges' ballots, and then even if we were just drawing straws or flipping a coin, and the representatives of the club also have access to the judges' ballots, is it helpful then to have an evaluation done of each speaker, or is that not allowed?
Contestants can have an evaluation of their speech at any level. The speaker, if they are participating in a contest, it's up to them to find an evaluator. If they ask somebody who is already scheduled to be a judge, that judge would need to decline. A judge is not to evaluate a speaker or a contestant at all. At your club level, again, limited number of people. At the club level, the judge could evaluate. At the higher levels, anything beyond, they cannot. Again, if you're in a smaller club, you want to get the members, and even a larger club, get the members familiar with using that judge's ballot, what's on it, how you would listen differently to a speaker because you are judging them on criteria versus giving them an evaluation of how to improve. Judges should not be evaluating.
And if the club does not have enough, again, it's a spectacle, if it doesn't have enough people for the amount of judges that would normally be necessary, they can still fill out the ballot. Can the speaker still get some kind of indication of where how well they compared against what is high quality in the ballot, just to give them some kind of understanding? No?
It should however the judges decide to score a contestant, that should never be shared with anyone else, regardless of what level. Judges' information should be kept confidential unless it's required by something from the contest chair or international. Judges do not have to justify how they chose their winners. End of story. Boom. And try not to overthink this either. It should not be try not to overthink the situation.
That would be my advice also. It's at the club level, it's either you do a contest and follow all of the rules, or you do something else. It's really that simple. That something else can be anything from, Susan, I think you did a great job in your last speech. I really think you should be our contestant. Do you want to be our contestant and you agree? To Susan and Cassandra both want to be contestants. We say, good, you're both contestants. We're going to listen to you speak and give a panel evaluation. To Susan and Cassandra want to both speak, and we're going to all fill out the judges' forms. We're going to all vote, give them to somebody to tally and give you a 1-2 ranking. Anything in between there is acceptable. But if you call it a contest, you must follow all of the rules.
The spectacle, is it still helpful to say contestant name, speech title, contestant name, at least some of those real mechanics? Or is it too close to the actual contest that it's not best to do that?
You want to get the members into the mode of how a contest at those higher levels is going. So as a contest Toastmaster, even if you're doing the spectacle, the showcase, you're not giving any background information on the speaker. You're not giving education designation. You should still follow the format: name, title, speech. Or name, title, name. So you just, again, you want to still just be consistent on this.
Yeah. I'll just add, I actually do that in club meetings unless the club has some different tradition. In my club, that's how I always do it. Once I learned how to do it that way, that's just the way I do it.
I'm starting to do that more and more as I visit clubs around the country. More and more, that's how they are introducing them. They may still have a regular introduction, but it's name, title, name. All right, Susan, I know your hand is still up, but I think you have another question. You're good.
I do. It's legit. My hand is up. Okay. Quick question. When is this recording going to be available? Because I have sent out some information to the club officers in my area. I want them to know that don't take mine as the Bible. This is more the Bible because you've gone through everything so thoroughly. This is where they need to go, especially the section on if you're not going to run an official contest. That's my question.
Yeah, so I'm the one that can answer that. Okay. It will be posted to the speech contest page, and I shared that link in the chat, as well as just from the district site. My hope is no later than Wednesday this week. that is the place to check. That is the place where all of the official resources as well are. I have links to all of the Toastmasters resources out there, every single form, all of the packets, all of the, pretty much everything that I could find that's helpful is out on that one page. There are also some scripts that I'm hoping to update a bit more, but they're also usable in their current state. They were last updated by Terry, but I wanted to refresh a couple of them as I had some time. But that's the place to check. And it will also get mentioned in weekly news, hopefully, but my hope is to get it all set by Wednesday.
Got it. Thank you. No more questions.
All right, it is 5:18. We have well surpassed our 1 hour time frame, but I think it was valuable information, some great questions. Jason, are you ready to adjourn our club contest training session today?
Yes, thank you all very much for your attendance, your questions, your attention. And thank you, Kris, for your excellent presentation and stepping in at the last moment to cover for Chief Judge Judy Bauer. So thank you all. Have a great Sunday evening, and I hope to see you around at lots of contests this year. Thank you all.
All right.